What would your life actually look like if you were living it how you wanted to live it? I'm Sarah Jayne and I am the founder of The Self-Worth Secret, and it's my mission to help women grow and evolve and be the absolute best version of themselves, and to really help them navigate the challenges of life and bring them home to themselves. So going back to my original question, how would you live your life if everything, all the barriers and all the blocks were removed from preventing you doing that? So, a lot of people be like, "Oh, like I would love to, but I would love to do that, but oh, I would love to have this, but." And generally, a lot of those blocks will be fear because they're too scared. It could be money because maybe they don't have money in their current situation. It could be frustration that's holding them back, where they feel that there's too many blocks and barriers and all these things are going against me. And what I really say to women is that if you want your life to be a certain way, you have to start living as if you already have that life with that energy. And really, that starts with being grateful for what you have currently. If you can't wake up in the morning and be grateful for waking up, and be grateful for getting to go to work, and be grateful for food in your cupboards, that you have vision in your eyes, that you have two legs you can walk with, that you've got heat in your home, that you have freedom and you have peace. If you can't lean into the gratitude of the little things, the universe is never going to give you anything greater than what you've got, because you can't even handle and appreciate what you have. A lot of things that I have got in my life, I was never meant to get, but I believed in them. I constantly journaled about having them, and I took aligned action to getting them. Whether like a lot of my 20s, I possibly had like maybe 2 to 3 jobs all at the one time. And I remember going back to a time where I wanted like a black Mercedes, and I wanted the Mercedes primarily because my granddad had dementia, and I was like, I want my granddad to see this car, which he did. He did get to see the car, and he got a spin in it. And I remember getting that car, and I remember I got the car on finance, and I don't even know how I got the finance at the time, but I did. And had the car, loved the car, paid off the car, sold the car. And I remember quite a few months after I'd, paid off the car, Barclays wrote me a letter and were like, yeah, we were never meant to give you that in the first place. Did you struggle paying for it? And I didn't, because I'd already been taking the aligned action. I showed up for work. I knew what I needed to do. And it was like when I bought my first house, in the year before I bought this house, I was told, I left home when I was quite young. I had really bad credit, and I was told, you'll never get a mortgage. You're not going to get a mortgage. And I remember being so annoyed. And I remember phoning my friend, and he told me to do A, B, C, D, and E. And I kept working. I kept saving money. I had removed everything from my life that was going to stop me from getting a house. I stopped spending my money foolishly. I prioritized saving money and getting myself aligned and in the state to be able to look after a house and be able to look after a home. And I literally walked into the mortgage shop, and I got like pre-approved for a mortgage on the spot. And I was able, the first house I looked at, I got it. And now this is my home, so I guess, you can't just sit in your house in your living room and close your eyes and wish for things to come and not take the aligned action towards them. That also means it's like, you can't lie in your bed every day and hope that something's going to happen when you're not doing anything, when you're not working on yourself, when you're not the best version of yourself, when you're not the version of yourself that can handle the thing that you want. So like for me in the past, I love the snooze button. I hate getting up in the mornings. I'm not a morning person. But, in recent times, in order for me to be more productive in my life, to have a full-time job, to run a business, I have to be more productive in the earlier hours of the day. And, I had to in order to manage both things, there was a time, and I think it's with anyone who works in the NHS, where you'd just be so done with it and you'd be so deflated. And there's been many times where I didn't want to be a nurse anymore, but I had to flip it. I had to turn it around and wake up and be like, I get to go to work today. I get to help people today. The system is not my fault, but I can show up for what I can do. I can show up with my energy. I can show up and give people the best care possible. And I can, when I'm helping people, I can receive their gratitude and feel like I did a good job, and embodying that and knowing, okay, instead of me being moaning about going to work every day, like, I get to go to work. I get to earn this money that gets to keep me in my house, that keeps oil in my tank, that keeps food in my cupboards. And it's about changing your whole perspective. I share this now because it took me years to master this, and I am not perfect at it, because it's very easy to slip back into old ways. And what I say is, life is ups and downs, and I have ups and downs all the time, sometimes every other day. And yeah, there's times I need to just lie on my bed. There's times I need to rest. There's times I can't be as busy as I am. There's times I get sick. I have to stop. I have to reevaluate. But I never let myself wallow for that long anymore, because you're just wasting your own time, and it'll be your mind, the thing between your two ears, that whenever you leave this earth will completely disappear. It'll be your mind that is driving that show, telling you what to think, putting thoughts into your head, giving you stories that you don't even know if they're true or if they're not true. And that may be about yourself, about others, about obtaining these things that you want, so it's really important. It's really crucial that you observe your thoughts, you observe what you're thinking, and if you find that that is not right, that the quality of that is not right, then you need to change that. And if you are living a life where you're not living the life that you want, well, then you have to be the person who can handle the life that is your dream life. You have to wake up every day in her energy. If you want to be a successful businesswoman, well, then you have to wake up every day as a successful business owner. If you want to, make a difference in your career, you have to wake up every day as the professional who is filling her own cup first, and who can then give to others and do the best work possible. A really simple way to analyze this is to look at where you're at now, and look at, where you want to be, and where's the difference between the two. What else can you do to raise your frequency, to meet yourself there? Because although you may not have it physically, energetically, how can you become that? How can you create that? How can you create your own abundance? And that will be by, number one, appreciating what you have, being grateful for abundance around you, being grateful for other people being in abundance, and not being in that lack mindset. If you need help and support on your journey, check out my website, theselfworthsecret.com, for all my little tips and tricks and my courses and coaching that is available there.